We often think about emotions being signposts. It's a great way to look at it, and sometimes you think, well, what's that telling you? And in terms of a coaching question, if someone says I'm angry, say, well, what does that anger telling you? What's it telling you? And it's a really nice access to trying to think about this emotion or a thought being a signpost, and what are the signs, what's the indicator, what could you do next? So yeah, what does that blank tell you? What is it telling you? So I'll often use that kind of approach if it comes up. And equally, the more proactive approach, which has sort of 5 different strands to the question, is being more proactive often, or just jumping on the bandwagon if you see an example to start the conversation with one of these next 5 questions. And they're all going to speak to some of, if not all of the above, which is about soul, body, heart, mind, and spirit. So rather than it being the emotion of anger, you're going to go more proactively to those energy sources. And I've done plenty of blogs and vlogs and videos on that, so do duck around and see what you can see around soul, body, heart, mind, and spirit. And then the way I present the question, and really almost try and get people into character, sometimes they can talk in character, is ask them questions about those 5 things. So they're a bit weird, but if you've got the resonance with someone or a team, if your blank could talk, what would it say? If your soul could talk, what would it say? If your body could talk, what would it say? I often start with the body anyway, body, heart, and mind, because it's much more accessible. We have this physical thing. And I remember being asked that question once. I didn't have the full 5 at the time. And it was great. And it was just when my daughter was born, I said, it would say I need to stretch because I've just been holding a baby in that position for too long and my neck hurts and I need to take a break or whatever else it might be. So if your body could speak, what would it say? It would say, don't eat that, spend more time doing this. If your heart could speak, it's an intelligence, these intelligent systems, if you like. Your mind kind of does speak, does it? Because that's where we think we get our messages from. And what about your soul? And what about your spirit? So if you're blank, if your soul, body, heart, mind, or spirit could speak, what would it say? Maybe just using one of them, some of them, or a version of one. The lighter option, if you like, is, you've mentioned being a bit angry. Well, if your anger could speak, what would it say? What is that anger telling you? Bring it right to the present moment. And I remember asking someone the other day, and they talked about this drive and ambition, and it was more about the physical stuff. So it was an interchange between the physical and this drive and ambition. And we were talking about stopping something and quitting something. And the quote that came out, it was a beautiful quote, and he said, "How dare you?" That's what my body or my drive and ambition would say about stopping. How dare you do this? And that was, it was just a nugget. It was the jackpot, because then we've got this idea of dare. So actually, we need some dare. If in order to stop this, we need to do something daring, because that's what's being explained from the inner to the outer, this how dare you. So it's about being daring on one hand, not being too daring on the other. The classic kind of management spectrum of dare, whatever that meant. And it's really great to have that surface, because then we have this concept, this just one word of dare, and that's enough for a lifetime of conversation. So yeah, a nice way of looking at it. Go for the easy option if you want. If someone expresses something, I think it's going to be, tricky. Well, if it was tricky, what's that telling you? If it's more personal about anger, what's your anger telling you? Or you can go in more proactively with some or all of the above. The 5 energy sources, their intelligence systems as well, about that soul, the body, the heart, mind, and spirit.